Every night, I found myself drawn to him. I told myself it was wrong, but I couldn't stop. Until one night my husband walked in and everything changed. I should have been ashamed, but I wasn't. Not when his hands were on me, his rough palms spreading heat over my bare skin. Not when his breath grazed my ear, thick with the scent of palm wine and desire. Not when I opened my legs for him, again and again, and certainly not when I heard the sharp, horrified gasp behind me. Obinna. I turned my head slowly. He was standing in the doorway, his face twisted in something beyond rage, beyond pain. Chimigbuom, he whispered, his voice breaking. My own father, my own wife. I should have moved. I should have covered myself, begged for forgiveness, fallen to my knees, but I didn't. Let me tell you how I got here, because this was never supposed to happen. My name is Nena, and before you judge me, before you decide what kind of woman I am, you need to understand something. I never wanted this life. I was 18 when my parents told me I was getting married. They said it was for my own good, that Obinna was a good man, a rich man, a responsible man. They said he would take care of me, that I would never lack anything. I still remember the way my mother held my face in her hands that night, smiling like she had just secured my future. A woman's happiness is in her husband's house, she said. A man like Obinna will make you a queen. But I was just a girl who didn't know what it meant to be a wife. I wanted to tell them I wasn't ready, that I didn't love him, that I had dreams beyond marriage and duty, but my desires didn't matter, my tears didn't matter, so they dressed me in white and gave me away like a goat at the market. And just like that I became Obinna's wife. A house that was never home. Obinna was not a cruel man, but he was not a kind one either. He was absent. From the moment we married, he was always traveling, Lagos, Onitsha, Port Harcourt, business meetings, import deals, expanding his empire. I'm doing this for us, he would say. But who was us? I woke up alone. I ate alone. I went to bed alone. We shared a house, but not a home. We shared a bed, but not warmth. There were nights when he came back late, smelling of alcohol and exhaustion, barely looking at me before collapsing on the bed. Other nights, he didn't come back at all. And I learned to live in silence. I filled my days with routine, sweeping, cooking, washing, playing the role of the good wife. I became a shadow, moving through cold hallways, unnoticed, unseen. But he saw me, Chief Anozi, the man who noticed me. Obinna's father, a man of power, of quiet dominance. The first time I met him was on my wedding day. While Obinna was busy entertaining guests, Chief Anozi was watching me. His eyes were deep, unreadable, but attentive. "Welcome to the family, my daughter," he said. His voice was deep, warm. "I hope my son treats you well." I remember looking at him, wondering if it was a test. Did he already know? Did he already see that his son barely noticed me? That I felt more like a guest in my own marriage? But I only nodded and smiled. Over the years, he was always present. Unlike Obinna, he never rushed through conversations or treated me like an afterthought. Whenever he visited, he would sit outside in the evening drinking palm wine and talking about life. And somehow, I found myself drawn to those evenings. I told myself it was because I was lonely, that it was harmless. But deep down, I knew better. It started small, a simple conversation, a lingering glance. The way his voice wrapped around me when he spoke, the way he looked at me, like I was a woman, not just someone's wife. And that was the beginning of the fire, the beginning of my downfall. I should have known, I should have seen it coming. But when does desire ever come with warning signs? It creeps in slowly, like smoke through an open window. You don't notice at first. You tell yourself it's nothing, a harmless warmth, a fleeting thought. Until one day, you realize you're already burning, and by then, it's too late. It started with a look, not the kind you notice immediately, not the kind that sets off alarms, but a lingering glance, a second too long, on a night when the air was too thick and the silence between us was too loud. Chief Anozi had come to visit, as he often did. It was late, the crickets singing outside, the oil lamp on the table flickering. Obinna was, as usual, not home. I had just finished serving his father food when I felt it, the weight of his gaze. I told myself I was imagining it, but then it happened again and again. Then came the night I could no longer deny it. I was sitting outside, the night air cool against my skin when he joined me. He always carried a quiet presence, a calmness that made everything feel slower, more intense. "You seem troubled," he said. I shook my head. "I'm fine." A lie. He took a sip of his drink, watching me over the rim of his cup. "A woman like you should not have so much silence." My heart stumbled. I looked away, pretending to focus on the dark sky. "A woman like me?" I repeated. He exhaled, long and slow, "A woman who was made to be loved." The words landed between us like a match to dry grass. I swallowed, gripping my wrapper tighter around my chest. I should have laughed it off. I should have changed the subject. But instead, I let the silence stretch, let myself feel the weight of his words, the weight of him. I had spent years unseen, years unwanted, and here was a man looking at me like I was something to be desired, something to be touched. A slow, dangerous heat curled in my stomach. After that night, I knew. This wasn't in my head. This wasn't harmless. And yet, I didn't stop it. The glances turned into touches, light, barely there, but felt everywhere. A hand grazing my lower back as he passed, fingers brushing my wrist when I served him food. It should have meant nothing. But at night, I found myself remembering, feeling, wanting. I don't know when it started. Maybe it was the way he looked at me. Not just with passing glances, but with knowing. Like he saw me. Like he had been seeing me for a long time. I should have felt shame, but I didn't. It was a week after Obinna left for one of his business trips. I had been in the backyard washing clothes, my wrapper tied high above my knees. The sun was scorching, beads of sweat sliding down my neck, soaking the thin blouse that clung to my skin. I felt his eyes on me before I even turned around. Chief Anozi, sitting under the guava tree, his cane resting beside him, a gourd of palm wine in his grip, watching me. I should have pulled my wrapper down, but I didn't. Instead, I slowed my movements, squeezing the wet cloth between my fingers, the water dripping onto my thighs, sliding down my legs. His throat bobbed. I saw it. A flicker of something dark crossed his face, something unspoken, something neither of us should have been feeling. It was the first time I noticed how much of a man he was. Not just Obinna's father. A man with strong arms, thick fingers, a deep voice that always rumbled in his chest before it left his lips. A man who held power, not just over people, but over himself. A man who looked at me like I was a woman, not a wife, not a daughter-in-law, a woman, and I liked it. Days passed. Obinna was still gone. And the space between Chief Anozi and me kept shrinking. It was subtle, a brush of fingers when he passed me a cup of water, the way his palm lingered on my lower back when he moved past me. The way he said my name, low, slow, almost like a whisper. Nena, like he was tasting it, like he wanted to taste me. One night, as I was lighting the lantern in the hallway, he walked past me. I don't know why I didn't move. Or maybe I did. Maybe I wanted to feel what I knew was coming. His chest brushed against my back, firm, warm. His breath ghosted over my neck. My skin erupted in goosebumps. I closed my eyes. His fingers grazed my waist, so light, so fleeting, but deliberate. "Good night, Nena." His voice was deeper than usual. And then he was gone. But my heart was racing. My skin was burning, and my thighs pressed together, trying to soothe a fire that had no name. That night, I dreamt of him. Not Obinna, him. His hands, his mouth, the weight of him between my legs. I woke up breathless, my skin damp, my fingers gripping the sheets too tightly. Shame should have filled me. It didn't. Because the next night, I dreamt of him again, and I didn't want to stop. The rain had been falling for hours. Obinna had sent word earlier. Business in Onitsha. He wouldn't be home tonight. I didn't know if it was fate or madness. But I found myself outside, drawn to him like a moth to flame. Chief Inozi sat under the mango tree, his lantern beside him, his drink untouched. Waiting for what? I didn't know. Or maybe I did. I stepped closer. His eyes lifted, meeting mine. The air between us crackled. He didn't speak, neither did I. I just sat beside him, closer than I should have, close enough to feel the warmth of his skin in the cool night air, close enough to see the way his fingers tensed against his thigh, close enough to see the restraint in his eyes. "This is wrong," he murmured. His voice was rough, thick, not with anger, with desire. "Then why aren't you stopping me?" I whispered back. I didn't wait for an answer. I reached for his hand, placed it on my thigh. His fingers twitched, but he didn't pull away, neither did I. And then, the kiss was slow, like he was testing the weight of it, like he was making sure I wanted this. I did. His lips were warm, tasting of palm wine and something forbidden, something dangerous, something I didn't want to stop. My fingers curled around the fabric of his wrapper, tugging, pulling. His breath hitched. I swallowed it with my mouth. His hands slid up, fingers rough against my soft skin. I gasped. He swallowed that too. His palm covered my breast, kneading, teasing, sending a sharp jolt of heat down to my stomach. I arched into him, aching, desperate, my legs parting, my hands digging into his back. I shouldn't have wanted this, but I did, and I wasn't ashamed, not when his hands spread heat over my bare skin, not when his breath tickled my ear, thick with hunger, not when I opened my legs for him, and certainly not when I heard the sharp, horrified gasp behind me. Obinna. I turned my head slowly. He was standing in the doorway, his face twisted in something beyond rage, beyond pain. "Chimegbwom," he whispered, his voice breaking. "My own father. My own wife." I should have moved. I should have covered myself, begged for forgiveness, but I didn't. Because I wasn't sorry. Not one bit. For a moment nobody moved. The room felt too hot, too small. My skin still burned from his touch, but now it was from the way Obinna looked at me. His face twisted, shock, anger, disgust. His chest rose and fell fast, like he was struggling to breathe. My own father. His voice cracked. My own wife. The words cut deep. Chief Inozi let out a slow breath beside me, but he did not move away. He did not hide. He did not regret. Obinna's eyes darted between us. His hands shook. His breathing was wild, broken. Then suddenly he laughed. A sharp, ugly laugh. One that made my stomach turn. He shook his head, his lips curling. "This is a joke." His voice was hollow. "Tell me this isn't real." I should have spoken. I should have moved, but I couldn't. What could I say? Obinna let out another shaky breath, then his eyes locked onto mine, and for the first time I saw something that scared me more than his anger. his pain. "You disgust me," he whispered. "Both of you." Chief Inozi did not blink. His voice was calm, like this was nothing. "Lower your voice." Obinna let out another broken laugh. "Lower my voice?" His hands clenched. "You stole my wife, and you want me to lower my voice?" His father's face stayed cold, empty. "Be a man, Obinna." The words hit like a slap, and Obinna snapped. His fist flew forward. A sharp crack. Chief Inozi barely moved. He touched his jaw, then looked at his son like he was nothing. Obinna was shaking, his face red, his breathing heavy. Something dark burned in his eyes. "You don't want to do this," Chief Inozi said. His voice was low, warning. Obinna's lips parted. Then suddenly, he ran. He stormed out, pushing the door so hard it slammed against the wall. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. But Chief Inozi, he stood still, calm, like nothing had happened. He turned to me, voice deep, serious. "He won't stay quiet." A chill crawled down my spine. The whispers would begin. The village would talk. I swallowed hard. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. This wasn't over. Obinna wasn't done, and something in my gut told me he would be back.